Hello everyone, it's thomasjujube, and it has been 6 years since I've been making YouTube videos. Kind of. Obviously you can see publicly that like it was not made 6 years ago, and it was made in like October, but it was just so I could like subscribe and do like YouTube things without videos. Then I actually did start making videos like a few years ago, no, many years ago, but they were all like stop motion videos, and I basically only did it because I had like an app on my iPad, I think, that would let you make stop motion videos and then you could upload it directly to YouTube. So I was like, let me do that with my YouTube account. I've unlisted all of them because I mean they were bad. That's not the problem. I didn't really like making them, and that's why I stopped making them. So then July 6, 2017 was basically at a point where I had been watching people making Kamen Rider, Super Sentai videos for a while, and I was basically just like, what if I did it too? Just randomly on a whim, I was like, let me do it. And that's why I started out with the bad like slideshow format videos, because I was just like kind of randomly like, let me try doing this, and I didn't want to use my voice. And now 6 years later, I'm still making those videos, and now I have over 30,000 subscribers. I go to a Power Rangers convention and people recognize me. And now this is like my part-time job as well, and it's been really awesome. If I could show myself 6 years ago where I'd be now with this, I think he would be pretty... I don't think he would believe me. He also would probably be confused, like, time travel? Maybe more than the YouTube thing. So thank you guys so much for the wonderful 6 years of doing YouTube. It's been really fun. So usually I do like a live stream, but I can't do a live stream on the exact day this year, so I was like, hey, let's do a Q&A instead. So I asked some questions, and now we're gonna answer some questions. First question from Luminous Mirror asking, what would I like to see in Kamen Rider Gotchard? A lot of your questions were about Gotchard, so figured let's include this blanket question one. At least right now, because we don't really know that much about Gotchard, I don't really have anything that I would like really need to see. I guess what I would like to see is some fun mix and matches. Like Geats did mix and matching so well. I don't think we can ever really reach that highs, like to the point where we had a few episodes where Geats was locked to the rival's base form. Not to that extent, but it would be cool if some of Gotchard's side forms were just for other riders. So I just like fun mix and matches, I guess. Hafiz asks, will I do an Ultraman Blazer review on my shorts, or just do an episode 1 thing like Zet? We will have to see, because the shorts, doing the 2 shorts a week for Geats and king-ohger, or I guess just whatever season's airing at the time, isn't like super difficult, because they're just like 2 1-minute videos, but I don't know if I can do it like 3 times, like for 3 shows at the same time. I guess let me know if you would like me to do some Blazer shorts. Maybe I'll just do some like when stuff is debuting, or just like the last 5 episodes. But I will 100% do an episode 1 review like I always do. Tessa asks if I like bread. So this is a funny question, like unironically, because like I usually, like when I would go out and eat with like friends or family, I always get bread, and I eat a lot of bread. And both like the friends and the family I eat with are all like, you really like bread, and I'm like, I guess I do. I just like eating bread. It's like plain, and you can pretty much all bread tastes good. So Dark Knight asks, what would I like to see from Complete Style Gigantic? This is a fun question because it's like Complete Style Gigantic is like really weird. A lot of people, like whenever there's a weapon for Rider, or it only does Rider, so I guess just Rider, they're like, oh, I'd like to see that in Complete Style Gigantic, and don't realize that they said themselves that the only things that are being made in that line are things that don't interact with gimmick items. So I actually was going to say I would like a Complete Style Gigantic, the Deno sword, because that doesn't have a gimmick that would interact with the belt, so it would be a CSG. That's one of the examples they first gave as well, and I think that would be a cool weapon to have. But while I was talking about what CSG was, I completely forgot that a lot of the Geats weapons would actually count as a CSG, because those don't interact with the race buckles except for a few. I think the Zombie Breaker would be a really cool CSG, just because Buffa, like the way he activates to trigger or like the pole piece in the show, is really badass, and it would be cool to have a full-sized chainsaw version of that. Israelion asks, what are my overall thoughts on Dino Fury, and who's my favorite character in king-ohger? I'll answer the second one first because it's easy. It's Rita. I think they are pretty cool, especially after the Focus episode where they established that like Rita was the only king that was kind of just randomly given the throne. And I also like the Mofun thing. Dino Fury is
It is one of the universe's most powerful villains.
It does a lot of things right. Like, obviously, the representation, like the first Black Gold Ranger, the first LGBT Ranger. But overall, I think it's really mediocre. Like, a lot of the plot lines are just, like, nothing. There's a lot of times where, like, a new upgrade is debuting and the episode's about Izzy and Ollie working on this piece of technology. The characters are all kind of annoying to me. I definitely don't think it's a bad season by any stretch, but I personally would not say it's a good season either, but it's whatever, I guess. Nick asks, how am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually recording a little Q&A video right now. Megadumb asks, what was the first driver you ever got? And by that extension, what was my first XA gas shot? I'll be right back. So my first driver was the Drive Driver from, I don't know when I got it. It definitely wasn't during Drive. It might have been during Ghost. You can see I also modded it so I could wear it. I haven't seen Drive. I just got it because it was when I was first learning about Kamen Rider, and this was like, these were the first reviews I saw for Kamen Rider, the toy reviews, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And I got it. First gas shot, I think technically is Mighty Action X. I did upload a video on this channel when I first unboxed my gamer driver, and it came with an assortment of gas shots, including like Muteki and Maxima Mighty. Actually, back in 2017, I bought the like the Gashapon. Yeah, this is the Gashapon one, but I don't like this. Kaijuzilla asks, drivers that I really want to own a lot. So the main one I think is the Deno driver, at least specifically the CSM. I don't have a CSM. And that the CSM functionality of that one is pretty cool. If you like henshin into like sword form and you just stand there for a bit, it'll have like Urataros or someone that's just like, hey, Momotaro, get out of there. And then it kicks him out and starts the transformation for rod form. That's like CSM stuff that I'm like a big fan of. Gunspawner asks for me to explain the entirety of Xaid in 30 seconds. It's an impossible challenge. I don't have a timer, so... a kid plays video games really well, angers the CEO of a company, which causes him on a big quest to create the greatest game ever by infecting civilians with disease and causing the 2020 pandemic, and then it's up to this gamer and his gamer friends to game and save the gamer world. And then Elon Musk arrives and starts. Ultramani asks, top 5 hottest rider suit feet. So, off the top of my head, I think Saber, because it has the rider emoji that says this foot is a rider kick. Xaid, because I feel like I have to pick that one. Geo, because it has kick on the feet in katakana, so with the eyes it says rider kick. Can I say Gotchard? It has the arrows. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, and I guess Revice. Revice is the 5 and Vice is the 0, so together it's 50th anniversary. You notice all of these are like ones that have dumb gimmicks. Yeah. Jojo Star asks, how many Gashats am I from completion, and do I plan to collect any other gimmicks like Gashats? So, I don't know the exact number right now, because I have a few that are, like, over there that I haven't unboxed yet, because I just haven't filmed a video yet. I think I'm, like, less than 10. 100% I'm less than 10 from completion. Together, that's all, like, kind of expensive, so that's why I haven't gotten it yet. I'm kind of trying to collect all the raise buckles, like, that just kind of happened, because I think the show's really cool. A lot of the premium stuff that's going up right now, I am pre-ordering it so I can make a video with some of it, but also just to have it because I think they're cool. I guess also at this point, I would like to go back and finish up the Wonder Ride books because I did, as you've seen on this channel, I did buy them as they came out, and then towards the end, I still really like Saber, but I just didn't want the premium books. So I'll probably go back and get some of those premium ones. Yes, even that one. Just so I can say I have, like, all of the ones in the show, at least. Carno asks, what Sentai or Ultraman gimmick would I like to see in Rider? I feel like the obvious answer has to be Ranger keys as, like, Rider keys. Because those are just, honestly, really cool. And having those for all of the Sentai is really cool. And I know we have a few of the O's ones for all of his forms, but it would be really cool to have some kind... Like, they don't have to be, like, Rider keys, but some kind of gimmick that has like a little miniature statue or representation of all the riders would be pretty awesome. Physical Jacob asks, can we do a Gridman video for the movie? Yes, yeah, let's do it. Harwap asks, what tokusatsu suit design do you love but hate the character that uses it? The immediate thought for me is Thouser from 01, because the Thouser suit is an incredible looking suit, and I hate that character. Probably one of my least favorite tokusatsu characters. Baraki asks, have I seen Linkara's History of Power Rangers? Surely everyone in the tokusatsu fandom has seen History of Power Rangers, right? Yes, I have seen History of Power Rangers. I have seen some shows that I haven't seen, but I don't make that my opinion, I just watch it for fun. Silverballs asks, what tricks did I use to condition people's brain into thinking about me every time Majin does her pose? First of all, she has like multiple poses, so I'm not sure like what pose you're referring to specifically. My mental illness, I think, is what caused that phenomenon. So I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can do about it now. Sarah Khan asks, what are my top 3 favorite MCU movies? Well, this one seems obvious. I think this one's my favorite. I go back and forth between whether I like Infinity War or Endgame War, because I think Infinity War is like a better made movie. Like it's very nicely self-contained, but like still connects to everything. I have a few story problems with Endgame, but then like at the end of things, like the last hour of that final battle and all the fan service throughout the movie as well, like I enjoy Endgame more, I think, if that makes sense. So like I think Infinity War is better, but I like Endgame more, and that I go back and forth between which one I prefer. As for the third one, I think I'd say Doctor Strange 2. I wasn't expecting much out of the movie when I went into it, and then I came out of it and I was like, this is a really cool movie. Like, I think making Wanda the villain is an inspired choice. Like, it just makes the movie so much more interesting. She's also pretty cool as a villain. Also, like, the Illuminati scene with, like, like, that does the fan service. Like, here's the fan casts and stuff, and then she kills them all off. I loved that. Daito asks, do I think Metal Heroes can make a comeback as a standalone thing? I don't know. I feel like there is room for like maybe a little something with Metal Heroes, but maybe not a full-on show anymore, because Kamen Rider and Sentai are just so much more profitable for Toei these days, I think. I wouldn't mind if it came back and they did a new show. I haven't seen any of the older seasons, but I'd definitely check out if they made a new season or a new movie or like a standalone movie. I would definitely give that a watch. Drizzy J asks, what are my favorite Majin and Sonogo moments? So Majin is a little difficult because I like everything she does. The one that does always stand out to me is the one I talked about in my Zenkaiger review, where she says to the kid that it's like, oh, we all have things we like, but other people don't like, and we're shy about showing that off, but you should just do it anyways. That's not exactly what she says, but it's like that kind of thing. That moment has really stuck with me. The occult roll call was... That altered my brain chemistry. I don't know why we're asking Sonogo questions here, though. Kakure Daishogun asks, what type of music do I listen to? I don't listen to any music, actually. I don't listen to the same kind of songs endlessly on repeat after I hear them from the YouTube recommended, and then I'm stuck and I need help unlistening to them. Let's Talk Heroes asks, out of all the Kamen Riders, who has my favorite transformation pose? I really like all of the X-Aid ones. like all of the different ways they play with the gashats and stuff. But I do want to say maybe Geats has my favorite. For a similar thing, I really love how everyone does a different thing with their hands, even though most of them are using the same belt. Even something as simple as Geats' like finger snap is like pretty badass. Actually, but I also really like Saber does the sword slashes. So actually, I take that back. We're gonna go with Saber because I like the sword slashing with the sword you pull out of the belt. Really cool. Vaughn, Mr. Cooper asks, can he see me do the king-ohger dance and do it like Rita? Well, I did say Rita's my favorite character, but Rooney Bittencourt asks, do I like super robot anime? And then lists a few examples. So, like, I've seen those designs. I like the designs. I haven't seen any of those anime seasons. I like the designs, but not enough to get me to watch the shows, I guess. A stranger on the internet asks, do they think we could get an anime exclusive Rider season, and can we get a room tour video? A Rider anime, like, would be really cool. Like just the writer is the anime, but I would like the caveat that it's like Gridman, where they make a physical suit, because I think it would really bug me if we got an anime writer season, like all original ideas, but we don't ever see that suit in live action. Like, I don't need the writer to appear in like every crossover movie, but I would like if it at least existed physically, maybe at events or something. As for a room tour video, all right, room tour, let's do it. So if we dislodge you here, if we start here, here is my chair where I'm recording. Here's my recording corner. Here's my nightstand. Usually there's a lamp there, which has been in some videos, but I move it for sometimes. Here's stuffed animals that they chill here sometimes. Here's my shelf of shelf stuff. So here's where my Majin stuff is sometimes. Or no, this is a Zenkaiger shelf. This is like a memorial shelf. Here's my Saber shelf. Or here's Revice stuff. This has like been a nothing. I mean, I have my Vision driver there, but I do have to move this poster stuff over eventually. Here's a door. Here's my closet with these Transformers posters that have been there for over 10 years. And a Voltron poster that I got, which is, I like the poster, so. And that thing has also been there for an absurd amount of time. We're gonna cover this up because this is the outside world and you don't need to see that. Over here is, well, let's see, up top here are my Transformer shelves. Or no, both of these are Transformer shelves. So here's all of my Age of Extinction stuff, but I also have like some other Optimus Prime bigger ones down there. Here I have some Power Rangers guys, but mainly big Optimus Prime. And here's my Soundwave Optimus Prime collection. Down here is my, well, you can see it. It's here's my computer. Here's my thing. What is this called? A monitor for the computer. Here's my Majin Shrine. This is where all this goes. The ones that aren't like by the Zenkaiger stuff. Here's a toy. And then here's my bookshelf with a fan because it's hot. And I put my Saber books here. So, and then over here is my, which I briefly showed, my recording corner. I mean, here's where I have Beats stuff. And these shelves are kind of a mess, but I'll rearrange them eventually. Muteki Prime asks, what did I think of the Rise of the Beasts movie? So, for those of you that did not know, I'm a huge Transformers fan. Before I was a tokusatsu fan, I was a Transformers fan. And Transformers is actually what led to me becoming a tokusatsu fan. So, therefore, I was watching Rise of the Beasts the Thursday it came out. And I think it's now my favorite Transformers movie. It's the first movie of the live action movies that made me feel like I was literally watching the cartoon, like I guess specifically G1, as a live action movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. Holly asks what were my favorite early rumors for any of the big Toku seasons. I would definitely say it was the Dawn Brothers ones. If you've seen my latest Dawn Brothers potential video, you probably know what I'm talking about. But a lot of the early rumors, or I don't know if they were rumors, I think they might have just been speculation, but I'm counting them here anyways, which was that Stay Caesar was going to be Don Momotaro. And like that was such an interesting idea. It never happened, but it would have been so cool if like the rival ranger of like the season, his final arc is turning into the Red Ranger, and then he goes on to have his whole own season. That would have been really badass. Media guy Zelkova asks, what is my favorite Sentai suit out of the shows I haven't seen yet? So I think I would say probably Abare Triassic Ranger, or no, is it Abare Max? I think it is called Abare Max. From Abba Ranger. I haven't seen Abba Ranger, but I've seen Dino Thunder. I like that suit in Dino Thunder, so technically I can count it in this question. Kamen asks, if I were the Red Ranger of a Ranger team, which 4 past Rangers plus 6 Ranger would I pick to have on my team? So, obviously Majin. So I'm the Red, so we got Majin. The Sonogo count, I'm counting her. Yanma from king-ohger, I guess, to have some color diversity, and he's pretty cool. Let's get a Maji Ranger. Maji Green. So I guess that's 5.
I forgot that I could include Power Rangers. So the 6th is the GOAT. If this version is technically not a 6th, the colors work better.
Michael Lamberti asks, how do I time manage while doing YouTube? So I don't. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of a mix. Like, I wouldn't say I really have the hang of it. Like, sometimes if I don't go a long stretch of time uploading videos, it's because I have to focus on other things, and I don't ever find the time to do YouTube in that time span. Or sometimes I just end up playing Terraria for a week straight, and then I don't put time aside to do YouTube videos. You kind of just have to balance things out. Like, especially if it's not your full-time job, you kind of just have to do it whenever, set some time aside, or be like, now I'll sit down and record a video or whatever. Definitely, I guess, set priorities. Like, I have to do this over YouTube whenever it happens, or this over YouTube I can do over this, or whatever, I guess. Aiden asks, what's my favorite Transformers figure and my most wanted one? So, my favorite kind of goes back and forth. So for the longest time, I did say this Grimlock, the Studio Series one, was my favorite, because I really like Age of Extinction. But I also really like this figure. Like, it looks absolutely fantastic. Like, it's a beautiful representation of the character in the film, which no other figure, or at least no other retail figures, have been able to do. But then this spring I went to TFCon, and I got to take a picture of this Megatron with David Kaye, who voices the Megatron in the show. So this has like sentimental reasons for being my favorite, but then even more so, Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen himself, held this Optimus Prime when I took a picture with him, and he also joked to me, he's like, I haven't signed this yet, where would I sign it? And I was like, Peter Cullen made a joke about my Optimus Prime, what the heck? But my favorite Transformer is actually Soundwave. So, my most wanted one, I have a lot of Soundwaves, but I think my favorite would be some kind of masterpiece Soundwave. I think it's called Acoustic Wave. That's my most wanted Transformers figure. Darth Wing asks, what are some unique tokusatsu tropes I really like seeing? While Matthias Santos asks, what are tokusatsu tropes I'm tired of seeing? So, ones I like, or part of the reason I'm like here and into the genre and all that, is just the way that, like, if it's like we're doing a big, powerful, emotional moment, and a character screams, and then a toy in their hand appears, and then they can stick it into their toy, and then it, like, they transform, and then new form and stuff, or big new robot. I don't know, that activates all the dopamine in my brain, and that's, like, super cool. Like, when I was watching, like, Power Rangers as a child, I'd always be like, are they gonna get a new Megazord this episode, or a new power-up? And I say I'm tired of Kamen Rider girls getting, like, sidelined. Like, in 01, Valkyrie just becomes a nothing character. In Saber, Reika goes from like a badass to weird thing that they had to retcon. Jean was like handled pretty well, and I do like her relationship with Aguilera, but like after Hana becomes Kamen Rider Aguilera, she just kind of becomes a nothing character. I think Geats has been pretty well with its handling of stuff. But like Neon just kind of gets sidelined after she loses transformation capabilities. Sumeri in the latest episode, or one of the latest episodes, kind of becomes a weird thing, and then Letter is like has 2 seconds of screen time. Sam Whaley asks, do I watch any anime? Before I didn't, and then recently I have. I watched at least like Oshi no Ko. That was the first anime I watched like as it was airing, like with all the hype and stuff. But I haven't really checked out other. I mean, I have checked out a lot of other animes, but there's this little criteria that is Majin voice actress. But I don't really keep up with like a lot of currently airing animes. Like even the one Gundam show, she's in it. And robots are cool, and I hear Gundam is good. I hear the show's good, but I just didn't keep up with it weekly. But I have seen anime. Like I've seen Gridman, I've seen some other things. I saw Futo PI. But I don't really keep up with weekly shows. That man asks, what would be my ideal main weapon? So sword weapons are, I like sword weapons. Those are pretty cool, slash. But I'd also like a tokusatsu sword weapon that turns into a gun, because those are pretty useful. Like I like having the capability to do the sword slashes, but then you can also get the long range capabilities. And lastly, Fusion asks, will there be another Toku fan made ideas? I didn't say that right, but that kind of video. I don't want to say no, like I'm never making one again. I already made 3, and people do ask for them a lot, as you can see. This is not the only person that asked this question. For me, it's not really that exciting to me, because it's like the ideas are cool, and I do love reading your guys' ideas, but when I have to edit it all together in a video and make that come out in a timely manner, it's just... So I do think I'll make one maybe at some point, because I do think it's been a few years since the last one, so maybe now it's time to go and do one. But also, like, there's so many ideas that you guys send in, which is awesome, but it's like I do genuinely go through and read every one. I think maybe if I went and did another one, maybe I would just need to create a crack team of investigators and editors and script editors or something. So will there be another one? Maybe. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you everyone who sent in a question. There were like 150 questions, so I couldn't obviously go through all of them, but I tried to go through some of the more interesting ones, or ones I saw a lot of people asking. Usually when I do like a live stream, I just kind of go through and answer random questions in the chat. So if you do want to like ask questions there, be sure to like, you know, subscribe and turn on notifications, or be sure to check out my Discord server where I have a separate Q&A channel. When people ask questions, I answer those questions. On my Patreon, I have the full footage that I've recorded for this unedited, so you'll get that early, in addition to this video early. So if you want one of your names here as well that's scrolling by, check out that thing in the description as well. It's just $2. You get a lot of other exclusive things. And yeah, thank you guys for the 6 years. Here's to another 6 years, I guess, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.